Welcome viewers to Historical Journeys. From an external perspective, it has the appearance of some outsider spaceship that has been unloaded in the green scene of country Ireland. In any case, this remarkable design is really the craftsmanship of people who lived over quite a while back. What's more, late DNA investigation of stays found at the site focuses to a few upsetting bits of insight about these old Irish individuals. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It only takes a second, and you won't miss any of our future videos. Let's get started. Inside limited sections brightened with stunning Stone Age carvings lead through the old construction, and they end in chambers that were utilized as burial places for the remaining parts of the clan leaders of these long-dead individuals. This surprising structure called Newgrange is situated in the Boyne Valley, where a scope of old burial places have been uncovered throughout the long term. The authority site for the area noticed that new grit was fabricated around a long time back. That provides it with the striking qualification of being more established than the old circle of Stonehenge, which goes back only 4,500 years. As indicated by English legacy, the antiquated Greek Parthenon, roosted on its slope above Athens, is considerably more youthful, constructed just quite a while back. For sure, those dates put the unprecedented accomplishment of New Grit into distinct point of view. The stream Boyne goes through Ireland's Count Meath, and the Newgrange landmark remains close to its banks. The area is around 40 miles north of Ireland's capital of Dublin. The Boyne Valley is a rich wellspring of Stone Age curios, and furthermore has proof of Bronze Age settlement. Furthermore, it's maybe the main ancient site in all of Ireland, that all out of 97 standing stones encompass the arch focal construction of New Grit its true site notes. Moreover, a large number of these, which are known as curbstones, show perplexing massive cutting right in front of them. The chamber toward the finish of the really 63 feet in lengthway is formed like a cross and elements a 20-foot high center form rooftop, produced using covering stone bars. In the meantime, the general design has a measurement of exactly 280 feet and stretches out to 43 feet at its most elevated point. The New Grit landmark sits inside the Brunel Boyne complex of approximately 35 Stone Age hills. Furthermore, the most popular areas after New Grit are Doth and North. As a matter of fact, this whole previous site lay untended and neglected numerous hundreds of years until it was rediscovered in 1699. In any case, it wasn't until the mid-20th century that specialists widely investigated and re-established the primary landmark to its previous greatness. So who fabricated this enchanting structure? As may be obvious, it was worked by a general public which comprised of Stone Age ranchers. The intricacy of the design focuses towards a profoundly coordinated local area, which probably had a distinct social construction with pioneers at the top making major decisions. Furthermore, those pioneers, as the new DNA examination has shown, practice a few profoundly perturbing traditions. The ranchers who assembled New Smiles had clearly continued on from the previous people who lived by hunting and assembling. Also, both England and Ireland, this progress is accepted to have occurred close to quite a while back. As indicated by the BBC, the settled networks that created developed crops and raised creatures, especially dairy cattle. As a result of this better approach for living, these early people were then ready to expand their numbers. These ranchers and landmark developers were of the Stone Age, that implied they had no metal instruments of any sort, contingent rather upon executes designed from bone, prom wonderstone. This makes the designs they worked in the Boyne Valley even more stunning. And 2C, these individuals were equipped for making amazingly precise estimations of the developments of the sun through the sky over the course of the year. In the 1200 years, the land then, at that point, came into the ownership of the Cistercian priests from the convent of Elephant, Constantly 1378. The name New Grit was being used, and supposedly, information on the destination's old history was lost around then. We can say thanks to Charles Campbell, who purchased the land where Newgrange sits in 1698 for its rediscovery the next year. Be that as it may, He was inspired by the locale's old history. Campbell's men had been involving stone from the hill for building work. However, as they dove into the clearly mediocre hillock, the specialists went over the entry to the burial chamber. This amazing entry stone, estimating around 10 feet by 4, tips the scales at an excess of 5 tons, as indicated by the Boyne Valley visit site. Old bricklayers had cut modern examples into the stone, utilizing spinning, winding shapes to make an entrancing example. Furthermore, don't fail to remember these antiquated craftsmen had no metal devices to work the steadfast stone. As we referenced before, Campbell's workers kept on diving into the hill, uncovering a way. This drove them to the inward chamber, where the men found bits of glass globules and bones which they thought had a place with creatures. As it would turn out, a Welshman called Edward Lloyd turned out to visit Ireland and was remaining close by in Region Meath. Clearly, he was a sharp classicist, and the Newgrange side quickly provoked his curiosity. Lloyd was purportedly not that dazzled by the revelation and portrayed what he saw as a boorish model. However, he composed a report, and this pulled in the consideration of another collector, Sir Thomas Molyneux. Campbell let him know that there had been 2 arrangements of human remaining parts, something anticipated disregarded. This gave an early sign that the Newgrange Hill had, as a matter of fact, been a burial chamber. The positive downpour of closely involved individuals then, at that point, plunged on the site throughout the long term. Much of the time, they thought of speculations about the reason and starting points of Newgrange. In any case, the majority of these were subsequently discredited. One normal subject among those early scientists might actually be seen as downright offending to Irish individuals. A considerable lot of those essayists from years and years prior were undoubtedly dismissed the possibility that the old individuals of the Irish Stone Age might actually have constructed something so refined. The savant estimated that it had been assembled a lot later in early bygone eras, by the Vikings or prior by the old Egyptians or even the Phoenicians. That wasn't until 1962 that anything we would perceive as current paleontology occurred in the Boyne Valley. One of Ireland's most noted archaeologists, teacher Michael Kelly of College School Plug, began work there in 1962. What's more, his mediation at Newgrange came just in time for the honesty of the site. Huge quantities of individuals had been visiting this otherworldly site, and it was turning out to be progressively harmed. As a matter of fact, despite the fact that Kelly ended the decay of Newgrange and did a lot of rebuilding work, a portion of it's questionable he was here and there past the point of no return. When he began work in the Boyne Valley, much significant proof had previously vanished or been compromised. However, Kelly's unearthings unearthed just a little opening of the bones that probably once lay inside the burial place in the stone bowls clearly intended for that reason. Be that as it may, a snapshot of motivation came to Kelly about the arrangement of the hill in the sun, on the off chance that not the longest day of the year in midsummer, what about the most limited day, the colder time of year, solstice? So Kelly chose to test his hypothesis in December 1967. He headed to Newgrange, showing up not long before first light, and the note. ComSite statements his record of that colder time of year, solstice. Kelly reviewed, I was there completely alone, not a spirit to it even out and about beneath. At the point when I came into the burial place, I realized there was plausible of seeing the dawn on the grounds that the sky had been cleared during the morning. With the atmospheric conditions set awesome, the excavator was going to observe a shocking peculiarity. As the morning sun rose and got the slopes free from the Boyne Valley, a brilliant beam of sun sparkled directly through the rooftop opening, striking the focal point of the primary burial place. Kelly depicted his response. I was in a real sense flabbergasted. The light started as a meager pencil and light into a band of around 6 inches. Bo Kelly went on, there was such a lot of light reflected from the floor that I could stroll around inside without a sheep skillet, try not to knock off the stones. It was so splendid I could see a rooftop 20 feet above me. The secret of the rooftop opening had been addressed. It was intended to catch the sun's beams at the colder time of year, solstice, before it began work at Newgrange. Goodness Kelly and his significant other Claire had traveled to Brittany and Spain. In any case, this was no arbitrary getaway decision. The two were quick to concentrate on the conceivable European starting points of these puzzling entry graves and other massive structures. Without a doubt, comparative designs were to be found at different areas around Europe. As indicated by the New York Times, there are approximately 35,000 massive designs dabbed around Europe. These are found wherever from Scandinavia to the Atlantic banks of France and Spain, as well as around the Mediterranean. Likely the most renowned are the huge standing stones of Stonehenge in Britain. Scotland likewise has an extraordinary illustration of a Neolithic construction mecha on the Orkney Islands toward the northwest of the central area. Here, a chambered cairn or hill traces all the way back to 2700 BCE. An interesting inquiry for archaeologists is exactly how the way of life and abilities important to fabricate these superb landmarks spread across Europe around 5 centuries prior. A few hypotheses were circulated in an article in the previously mentioned paper in 2019, and one has it that these gigantic landmarks might have been fabricated freely of each other. However, a subsequent hypothesis places that the structure of these stone designs began someplace in the close to east. The strategies and customs spread westwards from that point along the shores of the Mediterranean and Europe, conceivably with the guide of a religious class. In any case, new proof uncovered in 2019 proposes that these stone burial places previously arose in France. A prehistorian at Sweden's College of Gothenburg, called Bettina Schultz-Paulsen, endured 10 years breaking down 2410 radiocarbon dates of gigantic designs. Her examination showed that the earliest realized massive burial chambers date back approximately quite a while back and are situated in the northwest of present-day France. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay updated with our latest videos, subscribing is the way to go. Just click that red button below and become a part of our channel family.